the fact is, remember, I also told you that he's going over the $300 million threshold.
So who's he going to bring in this year to get him over that?
Well, we'll see. He still has to pay. He still, you got to remember, they have I think 10 or 11 guys signed right now, and their projected luxury tax number is like 285 right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling you, he's going over 300, maybe up to somewhere between, I think I said yesterday, 320 and 340.
So I don't think it makes a difference once you go over that last threshold, as you can go as far as you want because the penalty is going to be the highest no matter what.
Yeah. So, I still feel like, they're on track for that. And there are other people out there that they're going to be looking at. And I'm not surprised by this. I did listen to Craig a little bit, Craig and Evan a little bit yesterday. And I do take Evan's Met takes very seriously because, he lives and breathes the stuff. And, people have to understand that Jacob deGrom did not call or return the calls of Steve Cohen and his front office. And the reason that he didn't do that is because, do you remember when his agent was about 2 months ago or 6 weeks ago, and he was talking about the Texas Rangers?
Yeah.
So the agent is talking about the Texas Rangers. There was also mention of the Atlanta Braves. The Braves didn't want to do what the Rangers did.
Yeah, but they probably couldn't either.
Right. So once the agent engages with the Rangers are going to say to the agent, look, we'll give you the deal that you want, but you cannot shop it back to the Mets. We are not a sounding board. We're not somebody for leverage for you or any of that other crap. And the agent says, look, if you do this deal, we'll take it. And if the agent says that, there's no way that Jacob deGrom and the agent now can go back on their word to the Rangers because then they can't do business. That agent can't do business in baseball anymore. He'll be locked out essentially because his word won't mean anything. So they went to the Rangers, said, this is the contract, here's the numbers, and if you want it, now's the time to sign it. And that's why he didn't return the call to the Mets because the agent had already made a deal. And the reason the agent made the deal is because he represents his client. And his client tells him, this is what I want, this is where I want to go. And if they're willing to pay, then I will walk away from the New York Mets because, quite frankly, I don't want to be here anyway. So they were talking about this yesterday, and Evan was talking about it from the standpoint of, deGrom is great and all this other stuff. I was just like, you got to remember, deGrom didn't want to be here. And his agent is the one that initiated the talks with the Rangers. And then the Rangers said, hey, we'll go down this road with you. But once we get to where you want to be, you cannot take this back to somebody else. That's what I would do if I were the Giants with Aaron Judge. That's what I would do if I were the Dodgers and Aaron Judge.
Yeah, don't use us as leverage. That's bullcrap. We're offering you this massive deal. Don't be messing around. We're a professional organization, and we're not going to be used like that. I think every general manager and owner should operate in that way.
Right, and I also think that Aaron Judge is in a little bit different situation because I do believe that Aaron Judge does like it here. I do believe that he loves wearing the Yankee pinstripe. I do believe that he loves playing in Yankee Stadium and that it really benefits him offensively to do that.
Sure.
The difference between the two is that now you have his hometown team and the team that he grew up rooting for coming after him. And, I'm sure that they are treading lightly because it doesn't sound like the Yankees want to lose Aaron Judge, that's for sure. They've already made one offer to him, and I'm sure that they will match whatever the San Francisco, I can't say sure, but I'm sure that they would match it. But if the agent goes to San Francisco and San Francisco says, look, we're giving you this right now, you got to sign it just like Jake deGrom's agent did. But the difference is that Jake wanted out of here. And the Mets weren't going to go 5 years. They would go 3 years and do like what they did with Verlander here, but they weren't going to go 5 years. So.
Yeah, a couple of things. One, Brian Cashman said again yesterday that they've been given no assurances by the Aaron Judge camp that they'll get a chance to match. And they have asked that question a couple of times,
right.
And they've been given no assurances that is the case. And, Evan's opinion on this, I talked about it yesterday. He's clearly in the minority with Mets fans. I think that he's looking at this like a 12-year-old boy. Like, that's how he's looking at it. Like, he's not looking at it like an adult who understands business and bottom lines and taxes and things like that and lifestyle. Like, he's looking at it like the 12-year-old kid that sat there and watched Mets games and scored them and ate ice cream out of a helmet. Like, that's what he's like. How could you let this guy go? Oh, he means so much to the organization.
Want to be here.
Right. It does. Like, he didn't want to live here. He didn't want to pitch here. The Mets weren't going to give him that money. So, and by the way, I would have been upset if that contract that the Rangers gave Jacob deGrom, the Mets gave Jacob deGrom, because that was insane.
Hey, the Mets offered basically exactly what they offered Verlander, and then they probably would have went to an extra year. But it never got back to them because, again, Jake's agent goes to Texas. Texas says to the agent, if we give you what you want, you're not shopping this back at the Mets. You have to sign here. And therefore, there is no return phone call from the agent or Jacob deGrom back to the Mets, because then they're going against their word. They're going against their word. And, yeah, there are taxes involved. He will save money by playing there. Steve Cohen was willing to let him live in Florida, on his off days and train in Florida and then fly into the games.
Which is just ridiculous.
Right, which would have also kept, some of the money in his pocket as opposed to giving it away to state taxes.
That's right.
That is a real thing in professional sport. I don't know why people, especially at these numbers, I don't know why people don't understand that. Oh, you know why? Because they say, well, it's $300 million. What matter? Who cares? Well,
these are also people that don't have $300 million. Yeah,
I know, but you could save $30 million over the life of that contract, and that $30 million could be put into, like, I don't know, 3 penthouses in 3 different places. I don't know.
Right, or you could go to your grandchildren.
Yeah, buy a house in Southampton on the ocean for $50 million.
Right, and go and spend 2 weeks there out of the year.
Right, whatever. It's the best probably place to put it to is into real estate. But I would just say that this part of it is a real thing.
Sure.
Now, if you're Bradley Beal and you don't have any choice, then you have to sign. Now, the other thing too is when it comes down to Aaron Judge, it's good to be how this contract is structured. Remember, Mookie Betts got a signing bonus, and he plays for the Dodgers, state of California. Mm-hmm. How's the way around that?
Yeah, signing bonuses.
You sign a bonus, and where do you live most of your life? Well, in Nashville, Tennessee. What is Tennessee?
Well, a no income tax state.
Right. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Structure is a big deal. Length is a big deal. Deferred money is a big deal. It's extremely complicated. It's not like, I can't believe we lost our player. It can't be that way.
No, right. Not at this point. Not if you're someone who is an adult and understands business and understands all the things that go into these decisions. It's like
I'm a loser.
It's like enough already.
Not. He's not a loser, but
no, he's not. He's just got to grow up.
No, but he's also got to understand that Jake is older and he got a 5-year deal, and his agent initiated the contact with the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
And therefore, you can't go back on your word. You just can't. You can't go back on your word. That's all there is to it. So that tells me Jake didn't want to be here no matter what the money was going to be.
And let's not, Jacob deGrom did not come off the 2 back-to-back Cy Young awards. That's not the Jacob deGrom that they lost. They lost a guy who was afraid to pitch a couple of years ago, was out for most of the year. We had no idea what was going on with him, and there was back and forth with, does he have a tear? Does he not have a tear? Then he gets hurt again last year and misses most of the season and barely contributes in 2022 when the team had 101 wins. He wasn't even a factor in the team.
The amazing thing is what you said yesterday about his contract here with the Mets was that, he felt like he was underpaid because, Brodie Van Wagenen gave him a great deal from the Mets standpoint.
Yeah, team standpoint, yeah.
Right. And, he won a couple Cy Youngs under that deal. That's fine. He probably felt like he was a little bit underpaid. I get that. I get it from the athlete's perspective. And therefore, he was very, I would even say to some degree, overprotective of his body, his shoulder, his arm, his obliques, his whatever else is bothering him. And I believe that you're right, that he will now fight through some of this stuff because he's got his
guaranteed money, yeah. Right. As opposed to him sitting there going, "Oh man, I feel a little bit of this. I'm not gonna start. Take me out of the game," because he was thinking, if I end up getting hurt. But then, ironically, he still ended up getting hurt. But then came back, pitched okay in the second half of the season, and I say okay. There was some dominant starts in there, but for Jacob deGrom, it was just for his standard, it was just okay.
Don't you feel like he had to come back and pitch to some degree to show people that he could still do it?
Yeah. Yes. And that was his whole plan. I'm telling you right now, he wasn't like, man, I got to get back to make sure that the Mets win a World Series and I could be the ace who pitches game 1 and game 7. No, he's like, I got to get back and pitch so I can go get paid. And that's fine. And I'm not going to hold it against them.
No.
I'm not. I mean, when you are the best in your industry and the market bears out that way, go and get it. You got one shot at it. He had a previous shot at it, but wasn't a great contract for him. This was his last shot at it, and he went and got it.
I'm thinking if Trey Turner got 10 or what do you get, 11 years?
11, yeah.
Man, Aaron Judge is going to get a 9 or 10-year deal. I'm telling you.
Well, I think it depends on the AAV. Like the reason why the Phillies did that is they wanted to keep the number over every year under $30 million. I mean, yeah, so it was like 27, 28 AAV over the life of the deal. So they've got like Bryce Harper and Trey Turner on these massively long contracts, but both of them are making under $30 million. Now, like, all right, we will deal with the back end of those contracts when we deal with the back end of those contracts. The Yankees may rather have a longer deal with Aaron Judge, even though he's going to be 31 years old, to keep the AAV down, where the Giants are going to be like, we'll give you a shorter deal. We're going to pay you $42 million a year as a position player, and we're going to do it over 7 years, as opposed to the Yankees trying to, dance around, $35, $37 million for a longer period of time.
Again, I think it comes down to the structure of the deal, how much money can be protected, how much money can be given up front, and, the ultimate for Aaron Judge is what he's got to decide is what's the net number? What is the after-tax, everything else number that you need to get to?
Yeah, and Brian Cashman came out yesterday at the winter meetings and said, we have no idea what we're going to do if he doesn't sign back with us, which to me is stupid. Now, I don't know if he's being honest or not.
He's just being
but, like, have a backup plan, for God's sakes.
All right, what would your backup plan be? Correa?
Correa is a 100% guy that I would look at. Trey Turner would have been a guy that I would look at.
Those guys.
Then I would say to Hal, are we going to be in on Shohei Ohtani, and are we going to be in on Juan Soto when those guys are free agents or not? Are we going to be in that market or not? Those are the questions I would have. You can't sit there and be like, I don't even know what I'm going to do.
Could you trade for Juan Soto right now?
No, why would the Padres do that? They got him on that team-friendly deal, arbitration.
Maybe they like. Well, they keep talking about signing more players there. I mean,
there's no way that they would trade him. Yeah.
All I know is that if you're the Yankees, you're hanging in limbo because you don't know what Aaron Judge truly wants. And I know his agent has got him running around and meeting with different people, and that the Giants are going to make some crazy offer, or if they already have, then maybe they have. I don't know. Doesn't sound like it from what Brian Cashman is saying. But I know fans get really wrapped up in all this, and they should, because it's their team, and you don't ever want to lose a great player. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to how much money and who am I playing with. And like Jacob deGrom went to the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
He wants to live in obscurity.
Absolutely. I mean, and he has earned the right to do that because of how good he has been. But I mean, so if Aaron Judge leaves, clearly we all know that's going to be a disaster for the Yankees and their business. We know that. And if we're sitting here at any point saying, wow, they just signed Brian Cashman to a 4-year deal, and then the first thing that happened under this new contract is Aaron Judge walks to the San Francisco Giants. But let's just say, as we know, Hal Steinbrenner, very money conscious these days, that they bring back Aaron Judge and this massive contract. They go the extra mile to make sure he doesn't go to the Giants. What else are they going to do? Because if it's just bringing Judge back and you're putting a band back together and we're watching some of these young kids and maybe, Peraza will get a shot, Donaldson will be back. Like are we, Harrison Bader will be out there for a full year. I mean, is that team good enough to actually win a championship? No. Nope. So, we keep thinking, they got to bring Judge back. They got to bring Judge back. And I'm not arguing with that. But they also have to do more because they have fallen short every single year for one reason or another.
It'd be nice to see Severino and Herman actually pitch a full season.
Sure, yeah. It'd
be nice to see that. I mean, and I'm sure they're counting on those two players. I mean, you have your catching situation. You have like a million different things going on for both of these teams.
Sure. No, absolutely.
And really, Brian Cashman, I think, is telling the truth when he says, we have no idea what's happening with Aaron Judge. I would like to think, Aaron's grown up here. He's been a Yankee, that at least he would give them an opportunity not to match the deal, but at least to know that he's leaving if he is.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as possible. So then they at least allow the Yankees an opportunity to go and do what they want to do.
Yeah, I would think that decision has to be coming soon at this point, because now you're starting to see big name guys getting plucked off the board. 2 of them yesterday in Verlander. I thought the Yankees might have been in on Verlander, but clearly Steve Cohen paid him more than anybody was going to pay him. But Verlander and Trey Turner yesterday, like, these guys are starting to come off the board now. These things are starting to happen. If the Yankees are just standing there waiting at the bus stop for Aaron Judge for a bus that never comes, and everybody else is hopping in their cars and driving away, that's not going to be a good situation.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.